Good afternoon in Michigan. Good evening in Tel Aviv. My name is Marty Schickman, and I'm director of the Center for Jewish Studies at Eastern Michigan University. And I'd like to welcome you to Mira Awad, a concert conversation. But first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Jewish Studies Project at Eastern Michigan University. For generations, Eastern Michigan University has offered a dynamic educational environment for poor and working class students determined to achieve the American dream. We are one of the leading schools of opportunity and one of the most diverse campuses in the United States. EMU Center for Jewish Studies is dedicated to providing a gathering place for all of Southeast Michigan's numerous ethnic communities to learn more about Jews and Judaism, a space to build bridges, to open and engage in dialogue, and to foster cooperation and inclusiveness. The CJS offers classes in Jewish life and culture to EMU students both on campus and on the road, in places as close as New York City and as far away as Germany, Poland, Spain, and Israel. We sponsor faculty and student research, and we're responsible for the lecture series, which over the years has brought students and community members together to sample latkes for Hanukkah, taste kosher soul food with culinary historian Michael Twitty, dance to klezmer music, laugh at old Jews telling jokes, and sing with Israeli singer-songwriter David Broza. Our next event presents political pollster Jim Gerstein, America's leading authority on Jewish voting habits, to discuss making sense of the Jewish vote in 2020. He will speak on Tuesday, March 23rd at 7 p.m. The event is free and open to the public, so please mark your calendars. None of this, of course, is possible without the help of our friends in the community. And if you would like to contribute to our vitally important work, please look to the Eastern Michigan University Center for Jewish Studies page on the EMU website. We'll be running little things underneath. And also to our page on Facebook. Today's performance would not be possible without truly extraordinary assistance from our friends at the Academic Engagement Network, the Center for Middle Eastern and North African Studies at the University of Michigan, the Jean and Samuel Frankel Center for Judaic Studies at the University of Michigan, the Gail and Larry Weisnick Symposium Fund, and of course, the terrific students of Hillel at EMU. I'd also like to offer a special thank you to EMU's Division of Communications for all of their help in setting up the technology for this presentation. We invite you to place your comments and questions in the comments section of either Facebook or YouTube. Please keep in mind, we welcome your questions and comments, but ask that they please be relevant to today's performance. Mira Awad is a singer, songwriter, actress, artist, and content creator. She has long been a major figure in Israeli and Palestinian life and culture, performing music, appearing in television, theater, and film, creating visual installations. But Mira Awad has also been a forceful activist for women's rights, for equal citizenship for Palestinians living in Israel, for a two-state solution, and for environmental awareness. Hers has been a loud, eloquent, and decidedly beautiful voice for dialogue and coexistence, for peace and solidarity. Ms. Awad has bravely shown that collaboration is always necessary, even in places where collaboration sometimes seems very difficult. In honor of Women's History Month, the Eastern Michigan University Center for Jewish Studies is delighted to bring you Mira Awad. Thank you.
Hello and good evening to you. And thank you, Marty, for such an amazing introduction. Wow, we're live. We're here in Tel Aviv. This is Shai Alon going to play guitar along with me. We are at a studio called Papa Studios, just a block away from my house. So we're feeling really at home here. And we're happy to join you this evening. And actually, in respect of Women's Month, I decided to start this performance tonight with a song that I wrote for women out there. Most of the songs that you're going to hear tonight are in Arabic, so I'm going to translate a little bit of them before singing them, so you get the gist of what we're saying. So this little song is called The Light Within You. I call it a little song because it started as this lullaby that I wrote for a play, for a theater play. I did this music for a theater play, and this little lullaby became this whole song later on. So it says to all women out there in the world, do not hesitate. Do not look back. Walk towards the light that is within you. Don't be afraid, little girl. There's nothing that can hurt you. Do not hesitate and don't listen to anyone. Don't let people break your spirits. Keep walking on the winding road. If your heart is straight, there is no defeat. Just do not hesitate and do not apologize to anyone. Guard that light that is within you. Don't be afraid, sister. There's a light within you. Let it guide you. ما تترددي ما تطلعي لورا امشي تلا النور اللي فيكي لا تخافي يا بنتي ما عاد في شي يقدر يأذيكي ما تترددي ولا تتسمعي لا حدا ما تخلي الناس تكسر لك عزيمة ضلك ماشي لو الدرب تميل إذا القلب صحيح ما في هزيمة ما في هزيمة ما في هزيمة انت ما تترددي ولا تتأسفي على إشي وحرص النور اللي فيكي لا تخافي يا أختي فيكي نور خلي يهديكي النور اللي فيكي 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 النور اللي فيكي. Yay! So tomorrow, March 8th, is International Women's Day. And actually, I issued this song called The Light Within You last year, exactly on that date. So it's exactly a 1 year since we issued this song in the weird times of Corona. Wait, Eyal, ani mutzi'ata zeh. Thank you. It was a very weird year. I'm sure it was for you as well, but for musicians for sure. We were robbed of our stages, and we had to reinvent our worlds and our art again and again. And during this year, really, we went through ups and downs and lockdowns and opening and vaccines, not vaccinating, yes, vaccinating, and the whole really shebang. And Actually, during Corona, I continued to issue some songs, but then again, we also did some especially made songs for this weird time. It's called, you can find it on my YouTube. Go there after the show, Mira Awad, look for me on YouTube, subscribe, and you'll see us, me and Shai, doing these crazy pieces of music that we did during Corona, each from his own house. You'll see what we were feeling back then. This next song, though, wait, I need to connect my guitar. This next song is a song from the latest album that I was working on, that I'm releasing songs from. This album is a double album, actually, called Human Woman. So one part is called Human, the other is called Woman. The song that you just heard for Women's Day is from Woman, the album called Woman. And now the song that we're gonna do is from the album called Human. And in Human, I kind of treat my identity. So like Marty said a little bit about me, I'm half Palestinian, half Bulgarian, Israeli citizen. So you can see that this comes with kind of an interesting take on identity and on complexity of identity. And in Human, I wanted to tell the story of my narrative, but also the story, but also to address human solidarity, which is something, again, like Marty said, which is something that I really cared about all my life, and I want to convey that message everywhere, and with my art and with everything that I do. So the next song that we're gonna do is called Yabba. Yabba is Arabic. Is Arabic for father, and this is a song that I wrote addressing my father. So you see, the story is that both my father and I were born in exactly the same geographical spot, a little village in the north of Israel, which is now Israel, in the Galilee, called Rami. Only we were born in the same exact geographical spot, but in two different countries, right? Because my father was born in 1936, and it was Palestine, and then I was born in 1975, and it had become Israel. And this identity of being Palestinian by heritage, by, family roots, and then Israeli by citizenship is kind of the story of this minority, the Palestinian minority living within Israel, fighting for equal rights, fighting for the right to exist here alongside, the Jewish nation, and with equal rights. And in Yabba, I am telling the story of that minority, which is native, but sometimes feels unwanted or in exile within their own homeland. And there's a part in that song that says, I'm going to translate a little bit. It says, where is it? Father, I feel like a tree, big and ancient, that has been in this land for generations. It has deep roots, but has no space. The skies above it has bars, against which the branches break. Father, our land is beneath our feet, but we have no homeland. We live in houses of stone, but feel in exile. And this song was issued actually in January this year. Celebrating my father's 85th birthday. And he actually acted. He appeared on the video. You can also find that on my YouTube. So, Father, Yabba. بتقول احكي لهم قصتنا احنا اللي بعدنا صامدين احنا اللي ما غلبتنا حروب وما فرفطتنا السنين احنا اللي بعدنا من جول زيتون زرعوا جد اللي مات احنا اللي باقين على طول وقت ما تبدلت قيادات احنا اللي صوت الجبل فينا ورعشة غصون الكينا احنا القمح، احنا الغربال، احنا المنارة على البينا. يابا 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 يابا، بشعر زي شجرة كبيرة عتيقة صار لها بهالأرض دهور وجذورها غميقة، لكن ما إلها وسع وحياتها محشورة، ومسيج السما فوقيها وغصونها مكسورة. يابا أرضنا تحت جرينا، بس وطن ما في، أرضنا نروب من حجر بس حاسين بمعنى في. يابا 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 يابا، أنا تعباني بس مش يأساني. يابا 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 يابا، صوت الجبل فيه ورعشة غصون الكينا. أنا القمح، أنا الغربال، أنا المنارة على المينا. يابا 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 يابا. You cannot imagine how weird it is not to hear anything from you, you know, where this is still a shock. Finishing a song and not hearing a breath from the audience. So we're imagining you like going out of your, you know, like really applauding and getting enthusiastic, whatever, but it's in our imagination. So, as I said, Yabba is one of the songs, the new songs from a new album, but we're going to go back to my first album. And the theme song from my first album is called Balawan. Balawan is acrobat in Arabic. And this song kind of became my, it's like my subtitle. It's like there's Mira Awad and then there's Balawan, acrobat. Because it talks about this acrobacy of identities that I had to do all my life, being a Palestinian Israeli woman with a feminist agenda in a patriarchal world, you know, all these little lines that I had to kind of move in between. And the song says, I am walking on a tight rope. Yeah, tight rope. I'm walking on a tight rope, my hands stretched to the sides. There's no safety net, just like an acrobat. Every step I take, I'm still balanced between earth and sky and this crazy wind blowing. Any little mistake, I fly. I was always like this, always on the edge, to the extreme, you know, taking things to the extreme. And you were always afraid, maybe you were afraid that everyone will know that I'm an acrobat with no safety net and that any little mistake, I fly. ماشي على أوتار مشدودة إيدي على جناب ممدودة بلا أي ضمان ولا شبكة أمان بهلوان بلا أي ضمان ولا شبكة أمان بهلوان بين أرض وسما وريح مجنونة خطوة ورا خطوة على حبل موزونة أي شي بصير أي خلل صغير بطير أي شي بصير أي خلل صغير بطير أنا دايما كنت هيك دايما عالآخر عالطرف وانتي دايما خايف علي يمكن خايف ينعرف إنه بلاي ضمان ولا شبكة أمان بهالهوى وأي شي بصير أي خلل صغير بطير 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 أنا دايما كنت هيك دايما عالآخر عالطرف وانتي دايما خايف علي يمكن خايف ينعرف إنه بلاي ضمان ولا شبكة أمان أهلوان وأي شي بصير أي خلل صغير بطير بطير بطير. Thank you, yes. We're imagining again. I just want to remind you that we're waiting for questions from you. So feel free to write them, and somebody's gonna let me know what you wrote, which questions you wrote, and we're gonna address them in a while. So feel free to write us. We're gonna see them. We're gonna see that. And one more tip: if you're watching this via phone, I really suggest switching to a computer. You're gonna get better sound. That's just a little tip. If you have the ability to switch to a computer, it's better. All right. So switching to the next song. The next song is called Rita, and this is a poem, a very famous poem by a very famous Palestinian poet called Mahmoud Darwish, late Palestinian poet. Mahmoud Darwish is considered to be the national Palestinian poet because in his poetry he addresses the Palestinian identity, narrative, problem, exile. He was exiled himself for many, many years. He was not allowed to come back into his own homeland by Israeli authorities. So he is the spokesman of the Palestinian voice, if you want to call it that way. And we did a project together, me and Chai. We did music we made the music to a documentary movie about Mahmoud Darwish. And we're going to sing one song from that soundtrack to you. And this song, Rita, is a poem that Mahmoud Darwish, this national Palestinian poet, wrote about a love affair he had with a Jewish woman. Something that was really, really very controversial at the time. Not only at the time, but especially at the time, and especially coming from this character. And it's a beautiful love story. It's a beautiful. I really recommend looking up Mahmoud Darwish in general. Read any translation you can get your hands on. But this poem is really special. Because it's a beautiful love song, love poem about this first love, this really how can I call it? The first love, the first sentiment of the first meeting and the first kiss, and her braid was brushing against his arm, and these very delicate kind of moments. But then again, there's one sentence that gives out the fact that there's a problem there, and it says, "Between my eyes and Rita, there's a rifle." And that one sentence kind of puts us in that place, that state of we immediately know there's conflict here. So Rita. بين ريتا وعيوني بندقية، والذي يعرف ريتا ينحني ويصلي لعيون عسلية. وأنا قبلت ريتا عندما كانت صغيرة، أذكر كيف التصقت بي، خطت ساعدي أحلى طفيرة. ريتا 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 ريتا. اسم ريتا كان عيدا في فمي، جسم ريتا كان عرسا في دمي. وأنا ضعت بريتا سنتين، وتعاهدنا على أجمل كأس، واحترقنا في نبيذ الشفتين، وولدنا مرتين. ريتا 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 كان يا مكان يا صمت العشية، قمري هاجر في الصبح بعيدا في العيون العسلية، والمدينة كنست كل المغني. وريتا بين ريتا وعيوني بندقية. ريتا 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 Rita, ah, Rita, ah, Rita, Rita, ah, Rita, Rita, Rita. Woo-hoo! That was Shai Alon on the guitar there. Partner for many years already. Yes. Oh my God. I always enjoy doing this song because of the solos that I get. Okay. What happened here? So guys, I think it's nice time to hear some of the questions. I want to call Cole into the conversation to read me some questions. Cole, are you there?
I am. First off, this has been lovely. Thank you so much. These have been beautiful. So I think first, the question I'm going to start with first is from Bill Jones on Facebook.
Okay.
Because after hearing all these lovely songs, he asked, who are your biggest influences? I think both musically and we can say from an activist perspective. So let's get both of those.
Wow. So musically, my influences are all over. So as I said, I come from a half Arabic, half Bulgarian house in Israel, right? So already you have musically, you have all that combination. I have Bulgarian folk music as a very big influence in my life. I have Arabic music, of course, classical Arabic music and modern Arabic music. And of course, Israeli music, going all the mishmash of all these cultures happening here. But I also was exposed to classical music as a kid, and then rock and progressive rock. I loved Pink Floyd growing up, so I actually wanted to make Arabic music, but like Pink Floyd, that was my thing. And later on, of course, I opened up also to electronic and to music from all around the world. I love world music. I hate the name world music, but I love folk music coming from all kinds of cultures. That's something that I really love hearing, and I get a lot of influences from there. Now, the activist influences, I have to say, are my parents. My parents are both very, very culturally and socially and politically involved people. My father was a political leader, although he's an MD, he's a doctor as profession. Now he's retired, but he was always this political leader in the village. He led by role model, right? He led by model, and he initiated all these projects to help people with no means for medical services or whatever. So he was all over, giving free services and initiating all these associations and organizations. And my mother was very active within the community of women's struggle. So she was with all these organizations against violence against women, and she worked at a shelter for women who have suffered violence. So growing up, actually, I grew up with two role models of people who cared about others. Not to mention that, of course, a lot of the musicians that I like are people who are politically aware and expressing their ideas. Like, I don't know, Peter, Paul, and Mary, right? We grew up on them and people of such. Sorry. Yeah. So these are my influences. I hope I answered your question, Bill.
Thank you. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
Before going on to the next question as well, for those who haven't attended previous events where I've asked questions, my name is Cole Nelson. I'm the undergraduate assistant for the Center for Jewish Studies at Eastern Michigan University. So I do a lot of the question askings for some of our previous Zoom lectures, as well as this lovely concert we have today. For the next question I want to go to is from Nancy on YouTube, which is, where have you performed around the world? And then I'll throw in there, what was your favorite place you've performed back when we could travel?
I cannot do that. I cannot tell you what my favorite place was.
What are some of your favorite places? You don't have to pick just one.
Thank you, Cole. That's more politically correct. Aranda. So as you can see, Shai and I have traveled to all kinds of places. A lot of Spain and Italy. Lots of that. France, Germany, India, China. I've been to Azerbaijan. I have been to South Africa, South Korea.
The States?
The States, of course, England, all around Europe, practically. So a lot of places, Egypt, Jordan, lots of places. And my favorites. I have to say that I love Italy and anything Italian. Okay, I'm one of those people. I love the food. I love the culture. I love the language. Mi amore, it's just amazing. I enjoy being in Italy, so I guess that's my favorite. I guess. What's your favorite?
Where the food is?
That said, my favorite is where the food is.
Is there anywhere you haven't been that you would like to go once you can travel again?
Yes, Japan. I haven't been to Australia. I would love to get to Australia and Japan.
Sounds good. Would you like to take one more before you begin again?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to take one more question before you begin again?
Yes. Let's do one more question and then we'll go.
From Quentin Brooks on Facebook. Who inspires you now? You listed some of the artists that inspired you when you get into it. Is there any new artists or new phenomenon on the scene that are inspiring you now?
First of all, I want to say, what a cool name. Quentin Brooks. I got stuck with Mira Awad. He got Quentin Brooks. That is really cool. If you made that name up, good for you. Who inspires me now? Again, I get inspired from the weirdest stuff sometimes. So I'm not a very pop kind of person. So I don't listen to a lot of pop. But on the other hand, The Weeknd really inspires me. So it's pop music that I find really inspiring because it brings something new that I don't know from before. I get inspired by a lot, but especially from new stuff that suggests something to me musically that I haven't heard before, and that's a lot of things. I'm sorry that I don't have a list ready made.
No, that's fantastic. Well, turn it back
let's
over
go
to you.
back to some songs, and we'll see you again, Cole.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Cole. Okay, guys, thank you for the questions. And bring us some more. It's always interesting. I mean, this is the best way that we can kind of talk to. I wish it was more of a conversation going on, but this is a way where you can kind of talk to us and we can answer you and get back to you on it. So thank you for your questions and bring them on. Okay, moving on. This is a song, again, by Mahmoud Darwish. Mahmoud Darwish is a Palestinian poet that I just told you about. And since I'm going to sing it in Arabic and then in English, so I don't need to translate it, so that's cool because you're going to understand what it's about. I just want to say a little thing. First of all, the English translation was made by Akhi Noa Amnini. You might know her as Noah, who is a great, great friend of mine. And we've been collaborating for more than 20 years. She's a singer-songwriter, Israeli from Yemenite roots, and she is actually an American. She was born in America, and she did this amazing translation of Darwish that I think he would be very happy about. So the only thing that I want to say about this song is when I met it, with the first time I read it, I went like, wow, in one little song, he's saying everything that I believe in. And of course, I had to put it to music. So here it is, Think of Others. Ah, yes, now we have the guitar. Yeah. وأنت تعد فطورك فكر بغيرك لا تنس قوت الحمام وأنت تعود قلوبك فكر بغيرك من يطلبون السلام وأنت تسدد فاتورة الماء فكر بغيرك من يرضعون الغمام وأنت تعود إلى بيتك فكر بغيرك لا تنسى شعب الخيام وأنت تنام وتحصي الكواكب فكر بغيرك من لم يجد حيزا للمنام وأنت تحرر نفسك بالاستعارات فكر بغيرك من فقدوا حقهم في الكلام وأنت تفكر بالآخرين البعيدين فكر بنفسك قل ليتني شمعة في الظلام ليتني شمعة في الظلام As you prepare your evening meal, think of how the others feel. Don't forget to feed the hungry dove. As you wage your wars with guns, think of all the other ones, those who still believe in peace and love. As you pay for running water, think of someone's son or daughter, nursed by clouds beneath a starry dome. As you return from work tonight, think of others and their plight, those who live in camps and dream of home. As you lay your head to rest, dreaming deep, remember those who have no place to sleep. As you let your words run free in rhyme or tongue-in-cheek, remember those who've lost their very right to speak. And as you think of others far away, think of yourself and say, if only I could be a candle in the dark, I wish I were a candle in the dark. If only I could be, if only I could be a candle in the dark. If only I could be, if only I could be a candle in the dark. So, although we're here on a digital platform, I'm gonna teach you how to sing it in Arabic, okay? So the sentence is, if only I could be a candle in the dark, and in Arabic it goes like this. ليتني 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 شمعة في الظلام. Again. ليتني, I want to hear you. Yeah, right. ليتني شمعة في الظلام. But let the neighbors hear you. Okay, go. ليتني 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 شمعة في الظلام. And now we're gonna learn Hebrew. لو هيتي لو هيتي لو هيتي نير بأفلا. لو هيتي لو هيتي لو هيتي لو هيتي نير بأفلا. One more time. لو هيتي لو هيتي لو هيتي نير بأفلا. If only I could be, if only I could be a candle in the dark. And I guess you are our candles in the dark, and I hope you learned a couple of words in Arabic or in Hebrew. I don't know. Let me know later. Okay, so now we're gonna do a song that was released this week, and today the video got out to YouTube and other places, and it's a cover version of a song that I really, really love. The song is One by U2, and there's this sentence that I always, that made me want to make a translation to the song, and it's, we're one, but we're not the same. And this sentence always said it all to me. Like, yes, we're one, we come from the human tree, but we're not the same. And it's lovely. We're these different branches of the human tree. And I love the different branches, and I love the fact that they're different, but we're still connected to the stem of a tree. Now, I know that One, the song, the original song, is not really about this. But who cares? It's my version. So I did this Arabic translation of it, quite literal. And it was not easy because doing a literal translation in music does not work. So I really did need to work hard on it to find this literal translation that goes with the music, and of course that respects the metaphorical world of the Arabic language, which is different, totally different from the English language. But yeah, you're going to hear it in Arabic. Now, trust me when I tell you, it's exactly the same lyrics that you know in English. And here it goes. عم يتحسن شي ولا إحساسك راح يدوم؟ معقول الدنيا أسهل عليك إذا عندك مين تلوم؟ بتقولي حب واحد كيان واحد وبالليالي واحد الاحتياج. حب واحد بيجمعنا وإذا ما اعتنينا فيه بهجرنا. يمكن خاب ظنك فيه وفي مرارة عاللسان وكأنه عمرك ما عرفت حنان. لا تحرمني أنا كمان والليلي راح الأوان مات اللي فات. ليش نفيق الماضي من السبات؟ احنا واحد مع إننا مختلفين لازم نساند بعدنا نحمل بعدنا. جاي تطلب مني الغفران أو تصحي الأموات، جاي تلعب دور المسيح لمرضى بالخيالات. يمكن كان طلب كبير أكبر من المفروض، أعطيتني ولا شي وهذا هو الموجود. واحد معنا مختلفين وعم نآذي بعدنا. بتقولي الحب هو عبادي، الحب على قانون، هو عبادي هو على قانون. عالهيكل بتعزمني تحنيني وتهزمني، وما في أتعلق فيك وباللي عندك واللي عندك جروح. One love, one blood, one life. You got to do what you should. One life with each other, sisters, brothers. One life, but we're not the same. We get to carry each other, carry each other. حلم واحد، أمل واحد، حلم واحد. now we've learned another word in Arabic, which is wahad. Wahad is one. And this is our cover of YouTube. It literally came out to YouTube today. So make sure to go to my YouTube. Please subscribe. And let me know what you like or dislike about it. Okay. Next song is a song. I don't know a lot of songwriters who wish their songs to become irrelevant, but I'm one of those. I wrote the next song in a time of turmoil here in Israel, Palestine, and we have that a lot. We have this conflict, ongoing conflict, very painful conflict, with these climaxes that suddenly happen, and there's a big crisis, somebody's killed, or there's a bombing or something horrible like that. And I found myself writing this next song called A Word. It's in 3 languages, Hebrew, Arabic, and English, so you can understand what we're saying, because it's the same texts going through the languages. And at the time, I invited again my friend Achinoam Nini. You're gonna hear her name again tonight, so she's with us, although she's not here. I invited her to do this duet with me, and we recorded it in 2009. A Word. מילה על מחר לפני שיהיה מאוחר, אם אפחד לא אסתיר הפעימות שהלב מחסיר. كلمة عن بكرة قبل ما نصير مجرد ذكرى. أنا بخاف ما بخبي هالدقات بتوجع قلبي. You need to find someone to take the blame. I guess I'm doing just the same. We're so alike, we've been hurt before. I don't wanna do it anymore. A word now about the doubt that keeps you from reaching out and touching me, touching me. A word now about the doubt that keeps you from reaching out and touching me, touching me. A word about tomorrow before we drown in sorrow. I am afraid, can no longer hide the pounding of my poor heart inside. A word now about the doubt that keeps you from reaching out and touching me, touching me. A word now about the doubt that keeps you from reaching out and touching me, touching me. This was Shai alone here. All right. So I was talking about Achinoam Nini, my friend, and in 2009, both of us together, me and Achinoam, represented Israel in what's called the Eurovision Song Contest. Now, you in the US, I don't know how much you know about the Eurovision Song Contest, but here for us in Europe, yeah, no. here in Europe, it's a really big deal, and somehow Israel got into Europe, which is a funny story of its own. But here in Europe, it's really a big deal for us, and representing the country in the Eurovision Song Contest is a big thing. Now, unfortunately, in 2009, our participation in the Eurovision coincided with a big operation on Gaza, a big Israeli military operation on Gaza, thousands of people dead. And we were listening to the news and being devastated day and night. And really, it was not an easy time for me personally, but of course for us all. But for me, in the sense of being a Palestinian citizen of the Israeli state at that moment. Now, regardless of what I was feeling, which was already complex enough, there was this big petition on the internet calling me to step down from representing the country that is killing my own people. This is what they wrote in the petition. Now, it was true, but this was a very, very, very aggressive way of pushing me to step down. At the time, I decided to move on with it, to go on with it, and I did go to Eurovision together with my friend Achinoam Nini. And what we did back then is write a song about the situation here. So throughout all this turmoil, we were trying to write these songs to a pop contest in Europe, right? You can imagine how difficult it is for humans in general, but for peace activists specifically. So during that time, we were emailing each other all the time, me and Noah, and suddenly I noticed these sentences coming up again and again and in the emails. And I took these sentences and I wrote the next song called Faith in the Light. Again, it's a mishmash of languages because this is my life, a mishmash of languages. Now, Shai and I have traveled the world, as we just spoke before, and we've had a chance to sing this song for the last, 12 years now. But one of those very significant times was in Philadelphia, actually, in the States, where we attended. We were the artistic program for the ceremony, the Liberty Medal ceremony, where at that year, Clinton handed the Liberty Medal to Tony Blair for his efforts to end the Irish-British dispute. And we were on stage singing this song about conflict and about faith in the light. And I was thinking to myself, wow, we're on this crazy stage. And I was like, when will we be invited to go and sing this song in a ceremony where someone is handing out somebody else this medal or prize for their efforts to end the Israeli-Palestinian conflict? And this was like going on through in my head while I was singing that song in front of these thousands of people there. We still did not get the invitation to that ceremony because apparently it still hadn't happened. But we're still hopeful that one day we're going to sing it at the end of the dispute. Hey, I'm a hopeful person. So, Faith in the Light. There are days when I say, I wish it would all just go away. I wish I wasn't here, that it would all just disappear. There are days when it's too much, when I feel I'm losing touch with anything that makes any sense, all that is left of innocence. Where can we go from here? Sister, it's been one long night. What's to come, I fear. Give me something to restore my faith in the light. Tell me that we're here to stay and that we can set things right. في أيام فيها شعور كل شي ضاع كل شي مكسور. وبلحظات من هالزي الدنيا بتعتم حوالي. في أيام كل شي حزين وما في مطرح لراس المسكين. قلبي دايب وتعبان وجواتي داير بركان. Where can we go أخوت לא ניפול אל התהום. תני לי סימן ואות איך מתוך הלילה יעלה אור היום. איך בתוך האפלה נאמין בחלום. Where can we go from here? Sister, it's been one long night. What's to come? I feel. Give me something to restore my faith in the light. Tell me that we're here to stay and that we can set things right. Tell me that we're here to stay and that we can set things right. Give me something to restore my faith in the light. All right, that was Faith in the Light. I'm going to call Cole again. Calling Cole again to hear again from you if you have more questions or thoughts or, I don't know, deliberations on the world. Cole, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
We're good, I think, no? It's been a while since we played together, and it's such a privilege, like such a great pleasure to be with this person in the same room and play, and we're both vaccinated, so we can touch. Like, we're flying all over here. We're happy. Okay, so questions. You have some questions for us?
Yes, I do. Just kind of a question about a lot of the things you've been talking about tonight in regards to arts and politics.
Mm-hmm.
Are they something that's always connected? Can they be kept separate? Is there something to be gained from keeping them separate?
Uh-huh. Oof. Well, you fell upon the artist, exactly the artist to ask this. Because what I think is you cannot separate it because everything is politics. Me and Shai sitting together on this sofa, him being Jewish, me being Palestinian, Bulgarian, is politics. The air that we breathe, the fact that we are vaccinated right now is because of politics, because we have this prime minister who really wants to push the vaccinations before elections in order to get a point for having vaccinated the country. Everything you can just think of is somehow political. So to me, it's a bit naive to say, hey, I'm not political. I don't want to talk about politics. Okay, I don't push anyone to talk about politics, or artists especially. I'm not pushing any artists that they have to deal with politics or talk about politics or sing about politics. No, it's a personal choice. God knows, or I know, how difficult it is to be a politically expressed or self-spoken artist. You pay a price. There is a huge price to pay. So I'm not telling anyone, like, go do it. It's great. No, it's not. It's not. It's actually not great. So if you are not convinced that you have to link the two, do not go there. Just do your art, whatever. But for me, there is no other option. I just don't. I tried. Believe me. I tried to separate the two. I tried to kind of be an artist without the politics. But there's no such thing. My life as a woman in a patriarchal society, growing up in a patriarchal society, and then coming out of the village, that patriarchal society, thinking that I had come into the world, into the liberty and freedom for women in the world, and discovering how mistaken I am. This is political. It cannot be other than political. So yeah, for me, art and politics are connected, necessarily connected and intertwined. I do not know how to keep them separate. But again, I say, and I repeat that there's a high price for politically outspoken artists to pay. So you need to go there knowingly that you're going to pay a price. However, regarding the price, I think there's a price to be paid for not being outspoken, and there's a price to be paid for being outspoken. And you just choose your price. I think that I'm willingly paying the price for being outspoken because I think this is the way I believe I will live peacefully with myself. I will die peacefully knowing that I did what I did.
So this next question, it might be a little too long to fit on our banner. It's from Levi Robinson on YouTube. You expressed earlier your thoughts on the term world music. It's not a super specific genre.
Yeah.
How would you describe your music in the best way possible?
So, you see, so what I do is actually like folk music in Arabic. So I don't know what, because if you strip the Arabic language from my music and you put English lyrics, we did Think of Others, so it's like a folk music, right? Folk song. So yeah, I don't like this genre name world music because what it actually means is music which is not in English. It means, the British and the Americans called all that other music things that come from the world. Like these other languages, these other places that we have not been. And all these weird music that they do. And it's not a genre. It's just this category where you put anything that is not in English, which is not satisfactory. Because it says nothing about the style. It just does not dissect it into styles. And there are many, many styles within this genre, which is absurd. So yeah, that's why I have a problem with the word. But this is what people understand and relate to.
Yeah, I think that's a great assessment. We've got one more from Christine Neufeld on Facebook.
Go, Christine.
Do you have advice for those of us who care about the struggles of the Palestinian people, and particularly in a time where it's harder to go from place to place physically, how can people all over the world support efforts while not being there?
Yeah, believe me, I relate to the frustration, because in these times we were all in lockdown and we couldn't be places. However, we have the online platforms today, and sharing something, commenting, sharing on, like distributing an idea or an art piece or a post that is important, or an article or a book, or a video, an interview, whatever it is that you believe in, sharing it on and making sure that more and more people are exposed to it. That's something. That's already something. Financially backing up all kinds of organizations that you believe in their work. So I found myself, even contributing money to places because I couldn't be there. So what happened in Lebanon, the big explosion. So, I found myself like donating money to all these organizations that are doing the work on the ground. Of course, I donate to other things that are happening here in my own country. But it was important for me also to show my solidarity and support to other places. So that there's that as well. If you're financially able, then that's a lot. Believe me, these organizations, they need the help. They need the support. Artists that you like what they're saying and what they're doing, go support them. Just share it on. It's a huge thing to do. So don't feel frustrated about not being there physically. We're not all supposed to be doing everything. We do whatever is in our ability. And these little things, believe me, there are a lot.
I think that's always fantastic to hear that there's more that you can do than maybe you realize.
I think so, yes.
So you've talked a lot about what the pandemic has, how that's affected you. How has it affected your work? How do you think it's going to continue to affect your work, the work of other artists? And then what do you think kind of recovery from this is going to be like? How do we, in some way, get over this?
So first of all, I have no vision for the recovery. I have no idea where anything is going. Really, maybe it's just me. I don't know. Maybe other people in the room can have ideas. I really have no speculations, because I think one thing that this year taught me is how much I don't know, and how much uncertainty. For certain, we have uncertainty in life. So before, we always had uncertainty, but we had some kind of an illusion that we can kind of make plans, right? And we made plans, and most of the time happened, right? So we would say, okay, let's go out for a drink Tuesday. And it would happen, right? Usually, unless something really dramatic happened. And this year taught us that even that is not known. Suddenly you would get quarantined, It's like, so I think I stripped away my illusion of certainty, which is disturbing on one hand, but relaxing on the other. So I'm still trying to figure out what it had done to me in the long run. I don't know. But this is something very interesting that happened this year. I have no speculation on moving forward, but I can tell you that, yes, of course it affected my work. So first of all, that I don't have big plans for anything. I just want to live today. And I want to make music. I want to play with musicians that I love working with. I want to make videos that I'm proud of. I want to direct. I want to write. I want to produce. I want to edit. I want to write more music. I want to write another TV series. I know that I want to create. This is the only thing that I think I have certainty about, is wanting to create more and more art. I'm also an artist. I make ceramics. And so I just know that this is something that apparently, no matter what happened, even with the pandemic outside and with lockdowns, this is something that apparently comes out of me just naturally and needs to come out of me. So at least that. So of course I'm going to go on doing everything that I'm doing, not knowing where it's going, but hey, uncertainty, embrace it.
Well, thank you. I think we're going to take one more song to
Yes.
close us out for the afternoon or the evening.
Yes, let's finish with a kind of upbeat song that I think everybody knows. What do you say? So this is another cover, but it's just that I love the message of this song. I don't know if the Beatles intended it to be that kind of message, but hey, again, it's my cover, so I do whatever I want with it. And we actually recorded this cover together with Achinoam Nini again in I don't know, in 2002 or something. And it's just a nice upbeat song. So first I want to thank again Shai Alon for being here tonight with me and being this fantastic, amazing musician that I always kind of am in awe of. His thing, the thing going on here. I want to thank Ayal Yishai for doing the sound for tonight, and my husband Costa, who's sitting backstage there just listening, quietly giving us wine. And thank you for inviting us to do this concert. We really enjoyed our time. We enjoyed you, and thank you for the connection, and thank you for letting us tell the story. Letting me tell my story. And so we're going to finish with We Can Work It Out, and you can join from your houses and let the neighbors hear. So what? Try to see it my way. Do I have to keep on talking till I can't go on? While you see it your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. Think of what you're saying. You can get it wrong and still you think that it's alright. Think of what I'm saying. We can work it out and get it straight or say goodnight. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. I have always thought that it's a crime, so I will ask you once again. Try to see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. While you see it your way, there's a chance that we might fall apart before too long. We can work it out. We can work it out. Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting, my friend. It's a crime, so I will ask you once again. see it my way. Only time will tell if I am right or I am wrong. What you see in your way, run the risk of knowing that our love may soon be gone. We can work it out. We can work it out. We can work it out. Thank you, Shai Alon. And thank you, guys. Have a good night. Oh, here it's night. I don't know what time it is with you. Hey, Marty.
Hi, Mira. That was breathtakingly beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
The
much.
whole thing. I'm beside myself with how much I've enjoyed it.
Oh,
and
thank you,
Shai.
Marty.
Shai,
We
you're
really enjoyed
brilliant.
our time as well.
Thank you both so much. That was just fantastic. And all of you who came today, thank you for visiting with us. Thank you for visiting with the EMU Center for Jewish Studies. We hope to bring you wonderful and compelling performances and lectures. And I just, wow, that was just really amazing. Mary, you are stunning. Thank you. Shai, you're fabulous. To all of you, have a wonderful afternoon in Michigan and a beautiful evening in Israel. Thank you all for coming.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye all.